Now, I'm the first person to say when I was a teenager in my formative years, I loved The Daily Show. I thought it was so funny. I loved Jon Stewart. I remember when I actually got to go to the show in college because my dad was on and it was like amazing and I thought it was so good. And then I grew up and I became an adult and I had kids and I watched his Apple show and I was horrified at the sort of like creature he has morphed into. I found him to be like the most woke, I didn't recognize the John that I grew up loving. Now he's coming back to The Daily Show. My question for you is, A, why can't they pick a f***ing host permanently? Number one. And number two, which version of Jon Stewart am I going to get?
We can say f*** on this night?
Oh yeah, you can say whatever you want. This is a podcast.
It is a podcast because the nation learned today that Meghan McCain has a podcast. And in it, she uses her platform to talk about how Jon Stewart is unrecognizable from back in the day. Now look, obviously the passage of time ravishes us all. He looks different, but is he that different in terms of his values, his policies, what he's been doing? She said in that podcast that she watched the Apple show that he did, and now he's woke. I watched The Daily Show back in the day. What does she think he was advocating for back then? So I would like to throw a hypothesis out there. Is it possible that maybe he's not the one that has changed? Maybe Meghan McCain has changed in the intervening years? Maz, what do you think?
Well, the term woke wasn't even around back then. They've created this woke term as a derogatory term. I mean, obviously, came from wherever it came from, but the fact that they said woke is now a bad thing. Oh, wanting health insurance for people is a bad thing. If wanting to help people who are unhoused is a bad thing. If wanting to have peace in the world is a bad thing, well then I'm woke. And Jon Stewart, by the way, has done a lot. He went to Congress and helped pass that bill that helped the Iraq war veterans, and that's neither left nor right. But I guess in Meghan McCain's mind, that's woke. It's like, if anyone should be defending Jon Stewart right now, it should be Meghan McCain, because they have gone after her father in such a aggressive way, and her father was probably the last of the Republicans who was respected for being somewhat of a statesman. And so it's a shame that she doesn't see how kind of blind her comments are. I'm a comedian. I'm excited to see Jon Stewart back. I'm excited. Now is the time to have him back because he's very incisive and very good at breaking through these things and presenting it in a funny way. I watch Colbert's monologue every night just to get the news. And so I'm looking forward to him being back. I'm excited. And this whole thing of woke, again, I have comedian friends who go, oh, cancel culture. No, dude, you either have to evolve with the times, or you're gonna die like a dinosaur. So if you wanna use old terms that were okay 10, 20 years ago, go for it. And watch how much further your career will last. I mean, we've seen it with Roseanne Barr, who's lost her mind. If you don't wanna evolve with the current times and realize that there's certain things that have changed and we're living in a world that you can't, get away with the crap you used to get away with back in the day, then you are going to be irrelevant. So, that's my take on it.
Yeah, same. So that was my first impression as well. Meghan McCain must be the least self-reflective person in the world if she can't see that she is the one who has changed, not Jon Stewart. I have also been watching him since I was young. She's not that much older than I am. He has been incredibly constant in his views and in the way he expresses himself publicly over the course of decades, right? Maybe when he had his show, what was that, on Apple TV Plus? Maybe he wasn't as filtered as he might have been on Comedy Central, but I don't know of anyone else who has clocked any kind of notable transformation in him the way that she did. And it's also interesting that this is coming from her, because if I remember correctly, whenever Obama was elected president, he beat John McCain for that presidency. And on The Daily Show that night, he had a whole segment, and it was like based on The Lion King, and they're like holding up Obama like Simba on Pride Rock. I remember that episode.
I remember that.
So it's just funny, all of this coming from John McCain's daughter.
100%, yeah. Look, we're gonna see. He's older than he was. Maybe he has changed in some ways. I would guess that the way you change as you get older isn't that you become more woke generally. We'll see. I doubt that I'm gonna agree with him on everything, but he's been a very influential figure, I think with good reason. He did a lot of work back in the day, back when the sort of critical commentary of both the Republican and Democratic parties, as well as right-wing media, was not nearly as common back then as it is today. And so, especially in election year, I think it's a really interesting perspective, and a lot of people are probably going to tune in. I would venture to guess that that's what the frustration from the right is more centered on. They don't want The Daily Show to succeed.
If you enjoyed this video, that's because of our members. They make us independent, they make us strong, and they make us honest. Become a member today by hitting the join button below.